Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to review Hitman, which I saw today at the theater where my own movie is going to be premiering. I wanted to go there and feel the place out and really see a movie there and see what it's going to be like. The only sad part was that the movie that I saw was in the smaller room, and so the bigger room is still a little bit of a mystery, and yeah, but it's okay. I'm definitely going to go back there, because it was a really great movie theater experience. I mean, I hear so many people talking about how terrible the movie theater experience is, and how there's always people talking and kicking seats and things. And I'll just say it, like, I haven't had a bad movie theater experience since 2019. Like, I've had a lot of great experiences at the movies. Like, I think one of my best one, actually, was seeing Infinity War opening night with, like, a packed full theater. I mean, that was just a magical feeling. It was like all the energy of everyone in the room was, like, united in happiness and celebration of seeing this movie, and it was really, really nice. And seeing this movie was nice too. I did have some sinus issues at first, and I was like, oh shit. But then I just sat there and I just let it calm down, and I got better eventually. And yeah, the movie that I saw, I was really excited for it because there was a lot of hype around it, people discovering it, and honestly, I didn't even know it was coming out. Just like with The Fall Guy, Glen Powell is also an actor who I've been starting to really like. He's very charismatic. He's very likable. At first, I was kind of iffy on him because I thought, is he just like a pretty boy guy, like a really one-dimensional, like, what's that guy from the 90s? You guys know that fucker who married the girl, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. What was that guy's name? You know, the guy with the frosted tips. You know, like that guy, I despise that actor. Like actors like him who are just so one-dimensional and just have nothing to offer. But like Glen Powell's performance in this movie, Hitman, was just really, really good. I mean, it was an incredible performance in a pretty good movie. And that goes the same for his love interest, Adria Arjona, I think, or Arjona. I hope I'm saying that right, because she did a really amazing job as well. I really liked their chemistry. I thought, this is a great example of a good love interest. I mean, I was talking in a video I haven't released yet, because I'm still editing it. I didn't have time to edit it today. But I was talking about how the key to having a good love interest is the audience needs to have a thing for her too. And I don't know how you can't have a thing for her in this movie. She is so likable. She is such a great actress. I don't know why I haven't seen her in other things. And I really hope that she gets more work because of this movie. And I love the whole cast. I mean, I recognized that guy from The Walking Dead, and I thought it's really good that, like, see, that's what I really like after TV shows end and these really talented actors get to work in the movies and they just don't get, you know, left by the side of the road, you know, like what happened a lot of the times back then. You know, they'd just be stuck on TV and not do very much, but, like, I was really happy to see him in such a major role. He did a great job once again. And I kind of like this movie pretty much. I mean, I was really positive towards it, but then at the end it kind of tapered off a little bit, because this is something else that never happens. This movie was only 2 hours, but it felt like an hour. It did not even feel like I was sitting there in the theater for 2 hours. So that's how fast-paced it was. And that's how it tricked me, because I at one point I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, okay, should I get up and go to the bathroom? I don't know. And I kept waiting and waiting, and I was like, okay, here we go. they're getting into the third act. It's going to be really explosive. And then the movie just calms down and ends. And then I got up and went to the bathroom, and it was really funny because it was almost like a prank. I was like, are you serious? And another thing that was really funny was that it started off and it said, inspired by true events, inspired by the life of Gary Johnson. And nobody in the theater was laughing except for me. And that's because I thought it was a joke. I thought it was some sort of like a funny thing of like maybe at one point in the movie he would portray that presidential candidate, the libertarian Gary Johnson, who didn't know the name of that one country that I don't even remember what it was. But no, apparently there was a real guy who would do this type of thing, and this was like a biopic, and I literally did not know that until the end of the movie because I thought that thing at the beginning was a joke. So that was another thing where I was like really taken off guard. You could definitely tell that this movie was directed by Richard Linklater and written by him because it had quite a few things that, I feel like I just watched School of Rock like a couple of weeks ago, and I love that movie. And I noticed a lot of the things that were kind of transplanted into this movie that reminded me of that movie. And I also noticed, this was where one of the problems came in. His worst movie, or one of his worst movies, I haven't seen all of his movies, but one of his worst is Bernie, which was a movie that glorified this guy who married this rich old woman so that he could then take all of her money and kill her, and then masquerade as like, oh, he's just a really nice guy, and she was abusive, and nobody liked her anyway, and so it's perfectly okay that he murdered her, and it was really, really gross watching that movie, the glorification of, like, killing someone like that. And this movie, it has that same type of feeling. I'm not giving anything away, but it has that same type of feeling after a certain point, and it gets pretty weird, because it feels almost like the people making it have some kind of, like, a thing that they need to admit, but the audience isn't in on the thing that they're in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it was weird though. It was very weird. And yeah, I like the whole cast basically too. I mean, I know I talked about the main couple. I mean, obviously, like, guys like, wow. I am so glad that I saw this movie on the big screen, because you want to see this movie on the big screen. You don't want to sit at home, watch it in Netflix, do a disservice to the movie. Yeah, it's not a fantastic movie. Yes, it has some problems, but it's a fun movie. It's like a Saturday afternoon movie, although I saw it on a Sunday afternoon. It's the perfect, like, afternoon breeze-through movie. But one of the biggest problems, and I already mentioned this, but I want to get into more detail. But at the end, it felt like the movie was gradually getting darker and bigger and bigger, kind of like with Breaking Bad, how they go from the pilot to season 5 with, like, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and just worse things happening after worse things. And at a certain point, there was a lot of Hitchcockian elements in this movie to me. Like, there were some scenes, especially near the end, like, there was this one scene, I'm not going to spoil it, but involved the Notes app on your phone. And I love that scene because I love using the Notes app. I use the Notes app all the time. And so, but that whole scene, it felt like a Hitchcockian type of scene. And it was really, really cool and surprising to see, like, a Hitchcockian type of movie in the theaters nowadays, because you never see that anymore at all. And but then at the end, it just kind of gives up to me. And to me, I think it's probably because it's a true story. They even talked about at the end how they made up the stuff with the the stuff that happens in the second half. So they were kind of hampered by the fact that the movie was a true story, in my opinion. Like, if you want to create like a dark, like just pushing the boundaries more and more and more until finally it's like, oh shit, and shit hits the fan, like, do that movie. But if you just want to tell like a true story with a couple of, I think it just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't figure out it was a true story until the very end, because I'm a nitwit sometimes. Another thing I loved about this movie, and see guys, like, I can be positive about movies. I can be really positive, because another thing I really liked about this movie, it had a great message. It had a great, it was a really positive message to me of, like, be the person you want to be and act like you have the things that you want to have, which is really funny because I've been on a manifestation journey since the start of the month of June, and it felt like the perfect movie for me to watch because it's totally aligned with manifesting what you want in life. And like the main character, it's really cool to see his transformation throughout the movie. And it's funny too, because I felt like I could identify with that character of his. I felt like that is a great character. Like, even though he's played by this quote unquote pretty boy A-lister, he's someone that a lot of normal people can identify with and feel like I know exactly this character. And so, anyways, I really like this movie. It's way better than The Fall Guy by far. It blows The Fall Guy out of the water. And I know I'm in the middle about this being better or not better than the Planet of the Apes movie. I need to kind of think about that for a while, because I don't want to just like overhype it, because again, it's not a perfect movie. There are some problems with it, but it's just so much fun. It's so much fun. You never have fun with movies anymore. I loved all the different personas he did. I think my favorite one was probably the one where he did kind of the Anton Chigurh type of thing. And I also love the idea that the movie was debunking that, like, real hitmen exist, which, that's debatable. I mean, if hitmen did exist, you wouldn't know about them at all. They wouldn't release biographies like the guy that this movie is about, So I think that that's very debatable of whether or not hitmen actually exist. Because, I mean, there's that Boeing company where... like, there's been all those whistleblowers who've all gotten killed, and then they pretend like it's all suicides, and it's like, yeah, that's clearly a hit job multiple times. And you got, like, Jeffrey Epstein, like, you're going to tell me that a hitman didn't do that, and that was just a suicide? Yeah, that's nice try, buddy. But that leads me to a pretty funny story that I can tell about school. And that is in the 8th grade in math class, of all things. We had to do a project where we would pick a certain profession, and then we would track, like, we would do accounting or something. And I picked the job of a hitman for shits and giggles. And I was like, you're only giving me a list of these options, like, filmmaker isn't even on this list. What the fuck is up with that? I want to be a hitman, though. But the teacher wasn't there. The substitute teacher was, and he said, no, you can only pick something that's on the list. Sorry. And so I think I ended up picking firefighter, which is it's a very cool thing that people to do that, but I would never do that. I would never be able to do that. That's why I'm laughing. So all in all, I would say that this is a pretty good movie. I would recommend it for sure. And I would also recommend seeing it on the big screen. The biggest screen you can find. because then you will enjoy it the biggest. You will enjoy it the most. You will enjoy it much more than if you watched it on your little phone on Netflix. So in terms of food, when I first got into the movie theater, I was having trouble picking out what I wanted to eat. I was really kind of like, I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I'm not in the mood for popcorn. And then I got in the mood for popcorn after seeing the movie, of course, when I got home. Which is funny. That happens sometimes. But I was just like, I don't know. And I got peanut M&Ms. And then my tongue was blue after seeing the movie. But I feel like this movie is like, what if you took all the candy boxes out of the display case and you just got a sample of each one so that you can try it and see which one you would like? That's kind of like what this movie is. And then the love interest, she's a large box of popcorn. the buttery kind. And I'm saying that because it really reminded me, I guess, of like, it's not like the full package. It's not like a complete picture. Like I would have definitely tweaked the last part and extended it and done some more stuff there. But it reminds me of if anyone's ever seen that Kipper episode, if anyone ever watched the Kipper the dog show, the British kids show, which I really, really like. There was this episode where Pig opens up a candy store, and although it's done differently on the show because it's done for comedy, and Pig is like, would you like a free tasting of the candy since you can't decide? And then Kipper's like, yeah, sure. And then instead of Kipper getting to try them himself, it's Pig, the store owner, trying all the different candies and just describing them, which is really not helpful, like that's not what a free tasting is. And so, but that's what this movie reminds me of for some reason. So yeah, again, I'd highly recommend this movie. So please like this video and comment and tell me what you thought of the movie. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to continue seeing honest movie reviews, because I am 100% honest. I'm not going to censor myself, and I'm not going to lie. And if I see it's a good movie, I'll tell you guys it's a good movie, and vice versa. So goodbye, everybody. See you soon.